Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Street Circus Senior Review. Glad you all could join us in person and some of you online out there. Yeah, I guess we can get started. Just a quick going through the agenda today. We'll go over some summary of how this last one's gone. Go through some storylines that are developing in a very exciting. And then we'll take a look forward, see what's going on in the near future. So this video started really strong. In the Philippines are up 323%. Tournament attendance is up 142%. There's actually been 45 unique Wisconsin players that have played in the T Plus tournament so far. Just in January, 2025 had 59 the entire year. So we're very much on an incredible pace here. Um, Good job to all the CEOs and everyone who's shown up to these tournaments. We have 4 tournaments in January. 3 of them had over 20 entrants. Specifically, Peter Atwood had 24 entrants. For context, the biggest tournament last year was Concept X, a very big tournament that we put a lot of effort into, and that only had 25 entrants. So we're completely blowing out expectations out of the water this year. Um, Going into this, great start. There's been some storylines developing in January that I'm excited to share with you guys. First storyline is Ethan Kendrick. So Kendrick hasn't lost a tournament to Wisconsin players since Concept 194. That was back in November 2023, and he lost to Mercado. He also had a 16-month unbeaten streak broken in December 2025 against Wisconsin players specifically. Hadn't lost a single set for 16 months. But that recently broke in December 2025. Um, and actually, in the last 2 constructs, he's dropped sets to both Mock and Mercado. And so the real question is, can anyone break the shoot and win a tournament over him? Um, here there's some contenders that I've identified here. Um, that I think have a good chance of potentially defeating Kendrick's streak here. First up is the ones who have already beaten him. Is obviously Mark and Mercado. Mark took the set of Conference 15, is number 2 in the PR, has a really strong chance of beating everyone else in a potential bracket. And was already in winner side granted at Contact 216, and was just unable to take it all the way home. Kendrick getting all the way home at that tournament. Um, Mercado was the person who sent Kendrick to losers at Contact 216, and was the last to take a tournament over him. Had a really strong chance of beating anyone else as well. Um, they ended up losing the run back in a close game 5 of Contact 216. You can imagine a couple things go different. Mercado wins that run back and could potentially win the whole tournament. And I think very important, Mercado has really strong counter picks, people with Kendrick secondaries. Because maybe you can beat the Raw, but can you beat the Meta, the Ivy, and the series of characters Kendrick has at his disposal. There's also the ones who have come close, just in Flatline, number 3 and number 4 in the PR respectively. They both went last stock game 5 at PM Atwood. Um, they both have a really strong chance of beating anyone else. This specifically is incredibly strong when they are on, and could potentially go on a run and just sweep through everyone. While Flatline has a reasonably very positive record against Mock, who's one of the strongest contenders, and has a really strong chance of beating everyone else too. There's also the ones with an outside chance. I think these 2 players have a low chance of beating Kendrick in a set, but have a good chance, or at least an outside chance, of winning a tournament, just due to the fact that they can beat people who can beat Kendrick. So nobody knows if the third really very strong. He's going to start in the PR. But definitely needs a little bit of bracket luck. But I think with a little bit of bracket luck could make a very interesting run. And there's also Lord English, who already this year has wins on number 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the PR, but has yet to prove he can stay in bracket without leaving early. So that's going to be a strong deterrent there. In terms of the Madison region, down in the southwest of Wisconsin, we've seen some legends return. Both Blizzards and Books were both at King Atwood and had both been seen playing that play. Lord English is back until first. Meanwhile, Nobody Knows, Rise, and Flatline are still remaining strong. Last year, the whole Madison region was relatively absent. from the wider scene. Will D2L return to consistent entrance? Madison seems to be returning to form. The question really is, will they reach their old heights? I also want to do a player spotlight on Arya. Very like sort of old school player, long time player, but first time really sticking to a character. At least from my understanding, in a while. The Meta Knight has been looking really scary. Already has beaten both of his Squirtles, and has wins on number 10, number 9, and number 10 on the PR. Has been getting some help and has been practicing a lot, and has already shown some results with fourth at PR Atwood and D2L, and leading him to be currently fourth in the points. And so the question here is, how high can he fly? Will he continue playing out of practice, and how high are his possible peaks? For the North Wisconsin region, we've seen a great rise recently, and that's a very interesting storyline. Fond du Lac itself is a pretty small town, but it has four Greek players in it. We have Kendrick and Mercado, which are potentially two of the best players in Wisconsin. They also have Hannah and Steak, who are two players in their own right. Dash has been running a school essentially up in Stevens Point, running Smackfest and teaching as much as they can to players in their region, and even winning the Stevens Point tournament. And North Wisconsin is currently leading the points to this rise. Specifically, at Construct 217, North Wisconsin represented first, third, fourth, and fifth place at Construct. And that was a very stacked Construct. The question is, are they really be the powerhouse of Wisconsin and really lead Wisconsin to new heights? Another player spotlight, I want to go over Grab Team. Historically, a very strong melee player, but usually is used to playing fighting characters like Ice Climbers and Squirtle, but it's abandoned that for speed. And his Sonic has already shown incredible tremendous amount of potential. Has ended up forcing Kendrick off of Rob at Construct 316, which is a rare sight for sure. And has already shown to be doing really well in friendlies and grinding a lot. The question is, how much practice can you put in? As a mainly player, how much practice can you put into P4S? And really, how fast can you go? Oh, sorry, I have the wrong slide here. Next, I'm going to talk about Milwaukee's Marine Madness. So Milwaukee, generally your depths, the Milwaukee region, are down southeast Wisconsin, including Kenosha and all those places. Has historically been a region with a lot of depth, and Mock, Disc, and DeBillin have been staying with their main staying strong. So we've seen a lot of changes for a lot of these players. Raptor is Stefan, as we already talked, and Aria is the Meta Knight. To help us solve, we've been seeing a lot of interest with the nest. And Tubi has been putting a lot of work with the walkout. These changes have seemingly put them a little bit on the back foot with putting them last in the points total. But will these changes allow for high highs and lead Milwaukee to the top of the top? And lastly, I want to do a play spotlight on one of English. As we all know, incredible strong melee player. But the Alamar obviously unique to B plus, but the Puff carrying a lot of strength from melee, pretty good. As I mentioned, went on number 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the PR in just 2 tournaments. But there's a lot of questions. Will others adapt to him and his unique character traits? Will he stay in bracket long enough to actually succeed? Will he start on them hoes? Many questions like to be asked here for Lord English. And lastly, just want to look forward a little bit. Conflict 217 is in February 14th. Oh, sorry, I think it's actually 15th. That might be wrong. Between Two Lakes is March 1st, and Conflict 218 is March 8th. There's also more tournaments to be announced in the near future. So who knows what surprises await still in the Street Circuit. Everyone go play Plus and enjoy a beautiful fiscal year. Thank you very much for joining us. Are there any questions? No? It's actually recording and you can't ask live questions? Well, goodbye, I guess.